Highway 395 is one of my favorite drives in all of California and one that my dad has never really spent much time exploring. We decided it'd be fun to spend 3 days on the route and for me to introduce him to some of my favorite outdoor related spots along 395. Stay tuned for part 2 of this drive where we go to Death Valley in 110 degree weather as well. Here's what we did on our first few days in early July exploring Highway 395. We left early on a Monday morning to start the road trip with our end goal being the city of Bishop. The one-lane drive through the desert can be slow going, but after a few hours we made it to our first stop, which was Fossil Falls. This is our first hike of our Highway 395 trip. We're heading out to Fossil Falls. It's about a quarter mile. Fossil Falls is a unique geological area along Highway 395 that many people skip over. It's incredibly hot in the summer, but it's a great quarter-mile trail that takes you out past a bunch of lizards to where lava rock looks like it would have formed a waterfall when water was flowing through the area. This is the Fossil Falls area behind me. You can imagine what that would have looked like thousands of years ago with the water rushing over it. But this area is still really cool, even without water. There's a ton of lava rock all over. It's hard to really understand how unique this area is with pictures and video. It really needs to be experienced yourself to truly appreciate.
It's crazy that it's so close to Highway 395 as well, which runs right there. Saying goodbye to Fossil Falls, and we're on our way to Big Pine and to barbecue.
Before heading on to barbecue, we decided to stop in the town of Olancha and see the sculpture garden. You can see the sculptures from the road, but they're easy to miss, so be sure to note their location if you want to visit. Me and Pops have stopped here a few times. This is the statues along 395. They're always adding new ones, so we figured we'd stop and check it out again.
See if there's anything in the give and take. Did you give? Oh, money!
Someone's giving money. What can you take?
Did you take? Take nobody's word for it.
There's one sticker. That's all that's in there. On to the next spot. This time actually barbecue. We drove past the famous beef jerky stand, the Yellow House, and of course Mount Whitney in Lone Pine before making our way to the town of Big Pine. Big Pine is home to Copper Top Barbecue, which was voted the best spot in the United States on Yelp in 2015. I've been coming here for years to try their barbecue and it never lets me down. This is Pop's first experience at Copper Top Barbecue.
We'll start with a rib.
All right.
Taste the brown sugar. Yummy.
After having our fill of barbecue, we left Big Pine and set out for our main destination for the day, the ancient bristlecone forest. Just getting to the forest is a destination in and of itself, as it takes about 45 minutes to drive up into the mountains from Big Pine just to get to the visitor center. As you get closer to the top, there's a pullout for Sierra View, and I would definitely recommend that you stop here and take in the views. You can see all the way across to the eastern Sierras and down into Bishop, but more on that later when we stop here for sunset. So we made it to Ancient Bristlecone. That way it takes us to the Discovery Center and the Nature Center and the Easy Trails. That way it goes out to Patriarch Grove, but it's a 13-mile tough dirt road. So we're going to Patriarch Grove first. The road to the Grove takes a long time, and it's not recommended without a high clearance vehicle or even four-wheel drive during certain times of the year. It was pretty bumpy when we went, but we didn't have to turn four-wheel drive on. We're about a mile away from the Patriarch Grove and we just reached 11,000 feet. You can see there are already a bunch of areas where the trees don't grow. We made it to the Patriarch Grove. It took us about an hour and 15 minutes from Big Pine. The last mile and a half was pretty rocky. Definitely need a high clearance car. I probably wouldn't do it in a typical sedan, but it's a beautiful day. Clear skies, little wind, but we're excited to explore. There's two trails in this area. This is the Patriarch Grove Trail. It's about a quarter of a mile, and then the other trail goes to the top of that little hill. So we're doing the Grove first, then heading over there. This is the Patriarch tree, which is the biggest ancient bristlecone in the world. The oldest one is on the trails near the visitor center, but this is the biggest one. Patriarch Grove sits at a little over 11,000 feet, and it's a half-mile trail that takes you around to many of the different trees. Along the way, there are information plaques that tell you about the trees, how they survive in this location, and lots of other information about the area's history. I'll have a full video just about this grove in the coming weeks. Alright, so we made it back to the parking lot, and we're going to head out on the second trail, which is the Cottonwood Basin Overlook Trail. The Cottonwood Basin Overlook Trail is another great half-mile trail that leaves from the same parking lot. It's a mild uphill hike with a great viewpoint at the end and lots of ancient bristlecone pines to see along the way. Made it to the top of the overlook. There's the Patriarch Grove. Cottonwood Basin is over there, I think. There were no signs that provided any information at the overlook, but the views were pretty spectacular, looking down into the basin and across towards the road that led to White Mountain. If you're interested in hiking White Mountain, I have another video on that you can watch in the description. Finished hiking in the Patriarch Grove. It's about a 45-minute drive back to the visitor center area. We're going to do the Discovery Trail there before heading down to Bishop. Since this was my dad's first time in the area, we decided to do another trail to see more ancient bristlecone pines. We made it back to the visitor center and where all the other trails are. Unfortunately, the visitor center is closed because of COVID, but we're going to head out on the 1-mile Discovery Loop. If you're short on time, this trail is one of the best ways to experience the Grove. It's still a good drive from Big Pine, but the 1-mile trail lets you see a lot of great ancient bristlecone pines. Me and Pops have made it to the most iconic tree. It's the one on the other side of that one. That tree right there, that's the one that all the people take pictures of. What do you guys think? Is it the coolest tree you've seen on this trail so far or no? This tree is one of the most photographed in the Grove, so you'll often see lots of people with tripods set up there. Me and my dad are just finishing up doing photography, but we ran into Chris and Mike, who are fellow YouTubers. What's your channel?
Perea Photography.
Perea Photography. I'll put it in the description.
Awesome.
Got to shoot a little time lapse, got to meet some other photographers. And this is a really popular spot for night photography, but I'm not prepared for that with my shorts. So that's it for us. We're gonna head back to Bishop, get some dinner, and then explore more 395 tomorrow. The sun was setting as we were coming down the hill, so we pulled off at Sierra View. We're gonna watch the sunset. I had planned to end the vlog with the previous clip, but the sun was fading over the eastern Sierras as we got back to Sierra View, so we had to stop and watch the sunset. Yeah, this is definitely worth pulling out for. There's a short 1/10 of a mile trail from the viewpoint that takes you over a small ridge to a place with some benches, and it's a great spot to watch the sunset. We just finished up sunset at some of the best benches I've ever seen anywhere. It was an awesome sunset and an awesome view. Sierra Vista Point, I think it's called. Definitely check it out if you're up here. Pretty good first day on Highway 395.
Great first day. Great first day. Sunset, awesome.
Leaving Bishop, we stayed at the Vagabond Inn last night and we got coffee at Looney Bean, and we're heading out to our first stop, which is Convict Lake. Took a quick detour because I love taking pictures of this view on Benton Crossing Road, and now we're heading over to Convict Lake.
This is the area where all the hot springs are as well. If you're looking for a hot spring, they're on Benton Crossing Road. We're not going to any, but I can tell by the amount of cars that there's a lot of people at the hot springs today.
After soaking in the views and taking a few photos, it was only a couple miles up Highway 395 to the turnoff for Convict Lake. Made it to Convict Lake. We're starting the 2.5 mile trail that goes all the way around the lake. The Convict Lake Loop Trail is a 2-mile loop that takes you all the way around the lake and gives you amazing views of the lake and the mountains behind it. There's also a 1/2-mile wheelchair accessible trail here as well. I have another video just on the Convict Lake Loop hike if you want to check it out. On this side of the lake, there's a couple nice beaches that you can fish or hang out at. Plus, this side is also where you access some of the trails that go into the backcountry. I've done this hike 3 or 4 times over the years, and it never gets old to me as the views are just incredible and the hike itself is relatively easy. Be sure to stop near the boat launch when you get back as you can get some great photos of the mountains reflecting in the lake. I don't know about you, but I worked up an appetite. Mammoth Brewing Company, here we come.
Sounds great.
Our next stop brought us to the town of Mammoth Lakes and one of my favorite food spots in the town. We grabbed some health food and then headed on to our next stop at the Mammoth Scenic Gondola. I've only been on the Mammoth Scenic Gondola once during the winter, so we thought it'd be fun to take it up to the top and to see the area from above. Scenic ride.
Here we go.
The ride to the top is pretty incredible with changing scenery on both sides. You can see towards the mountain ranges to the west and down Highway 395 to the east. Everybody give Pops a shout out because he doesn't like doing this type of thing. He doesn't like heights. And he is up at 11,000 feet with me. Couldn't get him to go in a cave on Route 66, but I did get him to go in the Scenic Gondola.
There we go.
Once you make it to the top, there are many different hiking trails that you can take, and there was even snow when we went in early July. Check it out, we made it to 11,000 feet, the top of Mammoth Mountain. How do you beat these views? It's a little pricey for a whole family to come up here, but me and my dad both really enjoyed it and just took our time soaking it in.
So juvenile.
There's also a cafe and an interpretive center that shows you the different mountains and the ranges out in front of you. We grabbed a coffee and just hung out for a while before starting the trip back down. That was such a cool experience, right?
Just amazing. Looking out over those mountains with the snow up here in the middle of doggone June, start of July, just amazing.
It's hard to see, but that is Mammoth Lake way out there. Finishing up our time on the gondola, we're gonna head over to Rock Creek next because I've never seen that lake before, so we're gonna check it out. On the way to Rock Creek, my dad let me know he'd never been to Hot Creek Geological site, and that's one of my favorite views on Highway 395, so we had to see that first before heading on. If you've never been, it's only a few miles off Highway 395, and it's an awesome geothermal area with great views of the mountains. You said it was one of the most beautiful places you'd seen.
I think so. I've seen a lot of places too. This is definitely one of the most beautiful in its own unique way.
From there, we continued the drive all the way up to Rock Creek Lake. Made it to Rock Creek. This is my first time ever being here, and it is beautiful. Pa's never been here before either.
Rock Creek Lake. Looks like the place to be.
The place to be if you're one of those 3 fishermen down there. Since I had never been here before, I decided to continue the drive all the way up to where the road ended at Little Lakes Valley Mosquito Flats Trailhead. I can't wait to come back here and hike as it was stunning just at the trailhead. If you have a favorite trail in this area, let me know in the comments. As we left Rock Creek, the sun was starting to go down, so we took in the viewpoints on the way down to Bishop and then headed to our last stop, Bishop Creek. Pops can't stop yawning. I'm running him ragged on this trip.
I'm not as young as I look.
Yeah. Bishop Creek is full of places to explore, and it could easily take a few days to see it all. We didn't go to the South Lake area on this trip, we just stayed in the north section with our first stop being Lake Sabrina. We made it up to our second to last stop of the day. This is the Bishop Creek area we're in now, and that's Lake Sabrina. Lake Sabrina is especially popular for fishing and boating, but we just took a few pictures and then headed on. I was really excited about taking in sunset at North Lake, so we took the windy 1.5 lane road up to the lake. Me and Pops are chasing the last light, seeing if we can get a shot before the light goes behind that mountain in like 5 minutes. Check out this spot. Ta-da! Wow. We got about a couple minutes left and Pops is setting up a time lapse. Pretty freaking cool. Expecting big things.
You'll have to comment in the comment section about how epic this shot is.
Oh man, look at that. Trying to get the YouTube engagement. Don't leave my dad hanging. Comment in the comment section about whether it's epic or not. I don't know if you guys noticed, but this shot right here, or somewhere around this area, was actually a background on Mac OS. It was a lot cooler then because it was like fall, but it's still pretty beautiful. Me and Pops are officially becoming the mosquitoes' dinner. I don't know if you can see them, but they are all around our face right now. Sun's down, we're gonna head out, and that is the end of day 2 on Highway 395. That's it for our 2 days on Highway 395. I hope you enjoyed going on this adventure with us. If you want to see more of my dad and I's journey, I have another video I'll be posting soon on our trip through Death Valley in 110-degree heat. As always, thanks for watching these videos, and we'll see you on the next one.